y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? Healthy Warrior Shane.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to the dive bar of the IWC. Welcome to the episode 1 of Wrestling on the Rocks. That's right. This is the show where every show is our first show because we can't get show 1 right. We don't move on until we get perfection. I'm at Ref Marsh. We are at WTR the show. With me today for Thursday Night Chaser, we got a Mr. Crybaby Klump. What's up, Klump?
Hey guys, how's it going? Things are going well.
Nice headset. Looks fully charged. I'm into it.
Yeah.
And with us today, per usual, MsAmandaJayne. Say what's up.
What's up? How you doing, everybody?
Yeah. It's an unfortunately slow news day, so we may not have a lot.
The slow news
about.
day.
Yeah.
There's a
been
lot
nothing.
to talk about.
Almost nothing's happened for weeks.
Oh yeah,
as far as
I guess not.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, nothing at all. Yeah.
Let's talk about something simple real quick, and then we'll get into it. Let's start with a little bit of what's in your glass. Let's start with MsAmandaJayne. What do you got over there?
Well, because today is half price chili cheese coney dogs. I had to go to our lovely sponsored, not sponsored, Sonic. So we have cherry with vanilla vodka. That's what I'm
not
talking
bad at all. Not bad at all. And you can go to WrestlingOnTheRocks.com and click any of the numerous shop buttons I've put all over the place to pick up your own sponsored, not sponsored pint glass, coffee mug, wine tumbler, or t-shirt, as well as a ton of other good products. And we're going to be sending out the stuff for the people who won for the Rumble this coming up week. We got a mug going out and a shirt going out, so it's going to be good. Klump, what's in your glass? What are you drinking?
I got a Pellegrino,
Oh.
and it is spring, so watermelon Red Bull.
Oh,
Yeah, fantastic.
does
Tastes
it
like
say
apple.
watermelon or is it the red can?
It's the red can, but the red can is watermelon.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know.
is very good.
Oh, okay.
Very good. Springtime of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Although it's been colder here for the springtime than it was in the wintertime out here. I don't know if
Yeah, it's
true
been
for
stupid.
it's been really weird. I don't trust it. I don't trust the weather or anything about the weather. I think that
There's a
anytime there's nice
conspiracy
weather,
theory.
yeah, 100%. I think anytime that there's really good weather, the hammer is about to fall. Something's gonna happen. Something bad. It's gonna be a bad day. Any good weather day, it's gonna be a bad day. It's my theory.
Okay.
Think about it. The next time you have a shit day, think about how nice it is outside.
Yeah.
I am having, because of the wonderful news, I am actually having brandy today to celebrate the recent unemployment of Brandy Rhodes. I'm having brandy with 0 sugar sweet tea because
That's
there's
Weird combo.
no better way to describe Brandy Rhodes than 0 sugar sweetie.
Wow.
You were speaking some positivity about Brandy earlier today. I'm surprised.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of nice things to say about her. And there's a lot of jokes to be had as well. We're gonna get
That
through
is
all
fair.
of it. We're gonna get through all of it. That's
Thanks
the
for
other thing,
joining.
too. Yeah, thanks for
Wow.
joining. But I mean, it's also that's the reality of what we should be doing as fans. We can poke fun at a ton of stuff, but don't take it so seriously that you can't also acknowledge the good and the hard work between these people. You know what I mean?
That is true. That is true. That is
Yeah.
true.
We're
Yes.
all
Don't
about
take
having
us-
drinks, having fun, and making fun.
Yeah. Don't
Yep.
take us like a J.D. Salinger novel. Don't go and kill the phonies.
Yes. Phonies are fine.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of phonies, but I will
Yeah.
always call them phony.
Kill Reagan.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And thank you all to our drinking buddies for coming through. First drinking buddy of the night, just in time 211 from the In Time Wrestling Podcast, who just released his own Cody Rhodes theoried podcast today. I haven't yet heard it yet, so just know that these views are untarnished, but we'll be going into to see. So
Yes.
Well, I mean, we could definitely talk about show stuff, and we'll get to that, I
Well-
think. But there's a lot of new stuff I think we could just have fun with, and I think there was some birthdays, too.
Yeah, a lot of good birthdays.
Yeah, what do you got?
Well, today, happy birthday to the one and only Pete Jacobs, the original emo wrestler.
Oh.
He's the one that I have not. I've seen him a bunch of times, like in the wild,
Yeah.
but I've never gotten to meet him.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Cheers to him.
So cheers to you. This weekend we're celebrating. Oh, yesterday was Gangrel's birthday, by the way. So
Oh, that's cool. I missed that one. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Happy birthday,
and then
Gangrel.
yep, and then Rich Swan the day before, and of
Mhm.
course, this weekend there's some good ones. Big John Studd's birthday.
Oh,
Wait, is he dead?
he's
Very
passed
much
away.
so.
Yeah.
Okay, well
but-
never mind. Happy
He's-
afterlife.
Yeah.
Francine El Torito.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, El Torito. Marsh, your favorite wrestler's having a birthday this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
The chairman.
Oh, my God. I hope he has a terrible birthday.
The chairman. Gail Kim is having a birthday as well.
Mhm.
And on Monday, there are quite a few people having a birthday, but to be real and honest, the birthday, that fellow right behind me, best butt in AEW, happy birthday, Ricky.
Yep. Cheers to the
Yeah, so-
butt of Ricky Starks.
Yep. And let's just say this, because of all this wonderful news, who knows how longer you're going to be in AEW, my friend?
Who knows? There's
Who
a
knows?
lot of uncertainty. If there was one person we knew with certainty would never leave AEW,
Tony
it
Khan?
would have been the founding fathers, the Khans, the EVPs, the Elite, the literal group that All Elite Wrestling was named after. And the world was shook when was it announced? Tuesday, right?
Tuesday.
Day before Dynamite.
Mhm.
The world was found out that Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes had walked away from AEW. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about it. I think that a lot of people, well, for one, there's a lot of drama from not even them, not even from the business, from the fans. I've seen people screaming
Yeah,
at him as a
fuck.
turncoat. I've seen people crying, saying nothing is ever going to be the same. I've seen people say, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Fuck this guy. It's been intense, and I don't see a whole lot of people rationally considering what it means in its entirety, what Cody meant to the company in general. I think it's big. It's big, earth-shaking news. I'll say this because I've also been openly critical of a lot of the stuff he's done. I think even though there was a lot of storylines and matches, and I poked fun at a lot of things, you can't deny that AEW came about without a massive amount of leverage used off Cody Rhodes' work and name.
Mhm.
He was a massive part of the creation of AEW.
Yeah.
And he did a lot backstage. And I even think that the misses he had in ring and in promos were all stuff that could have easily been avoided if the right people were in his ear and giving him the right advice. Like, I made the joke about if Cody went to WWE, I said the good news is he will stop saying so much wild shit if he's scripted. But there's a there's a bit of truth there. If he were to go somewhere like a WWE, where he would say, I want to do this storyline, I want to say these things, they could say, okay, let's say it a different way. And you know what I mean? Like, and he'll be fine. But constantly trying to get himself that Dusty Rhodes promo, I think, was a bit of an issue. But that said, it's a big blow to AEW for them to lose one of the EVPs.
Especially that EVP.
Yeah. Amanda, you wanna tell us what you think about it?
You know, I'm gonna follow you on that whole thing. I've seen the internet and other things explode. Okay. First of all, it's not the end of the world. Okay. We'll move on. Yeah, it sucks that we're not gonna have another, I don't know, a Black Lives Matter t-shirt with Cody this year for this month.
Yeah.
Never gonna see my Pacific Islander Asian Heritage Month Cody Rhodes shirt. You know, wasn't on the album. It's probably why he left. I mean, I don't know. We can speculate. But anyways, I do think that
I got a feeling his lack of track on the new hip hop album about AEW during Black History Month was a huge part.
Brandy not being on there, even though originally I think she was on the original promotional photo.
Oh, I think
since
you're right.
then taken out.
Yeah.
As of yesterday, like everything else has been. It's like, why are you going to keep somebody on here who doesn't work for you really anymore? So it seems kind of bitter. But I will say I think it's ridiculous that some people who are huge stands of something and a fan, you know, hey, it's your right to, you know, like what you like what you don't like. But it's also nobody's right to like poke fun of people and, you know, make fun of whatever. If they want to be a bandwagoner, let them fucking ride the bandwagon. Okay. That's totally fine. You know, I don't think that people, and this goes for not just Cody leaving and all this crap, but this goes for anything. You know, if someone likes something you don't, let them like it. It's fine. You know, who's it hurting? Nobody, you know, unless it's like somebody really bad, you know, I'm not going to name names, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but even from the bandwagon perspective, let's say that I like the team that I like. Let's say I like the Chargers and they finally make it to the World Series and all of a sudden, wait, those are two different sports, aren't they?
That's two different sports.
Fuck, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Well,
Trump's like, nice catch, bud.
Yeah.
Let's say
way to score a dunk.
Yeah, I dunked it. So I've been a Chargers fan my whole life. Born in San Diego. They're now in LA. A lot of people are no longer Chargers fans. I'm still a fan of them just because of the Go Bolts. If they made it to the Super Bowl and all of a sudden my friends were like, oh, I'm cheering for the Chargers this year, I'm not going to yell at them and be like, don't cheer for my team because you didn't like them before. No, fuck. Allow the bandwagon fans because then there's someone else cheering with you too. It's just more fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch things with people who like it too.
Or kind of like it.
Yeah, and if a year later, you're like, yeah, I'm not really into Chargers anymore, it's cool because we had fun the one time we watched it together. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that.
Well,
yeah.
There's no reason. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. Like, there's no reason to be so negative on Cody in the situation. Because one, Cody Cody is so key to what you love. You can't hate that. But also, let's be real. Without Cody, like there would be no AEW, and without WWE, there'd be no AEW. So what's with the weird hate of it? I mean, at the end of the day, it's what's built what you love, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And even then, like I said, I've been really critical. I watched a bunch of Dynamite stuff and been like, man, I just was not feeling this Cody promo. It seemed phoned in, overly scripted, over raw. I've said all those things. At the end of the day, when they said he was leaving, my first thought wasn't like, good, the company's better without him. I just kind of went, oh shit, it's a big deal. Because even if he didn't want to wrestle anymore, as an EVP, he was an employee of the company. And this company was founded on the idea of making wrestlers employees. And so they made 6 EVPs out of wrestlers so they can say they did it. But at the end of the day...
Wait, there's 6?
I don't know how many there are. I don't understand contracts.
5? I know 5. But
all right.
Who's the
well,
6?
there was Brandy, Cody, the Bucks, Kenny. Paige was not right. Jericho's not.
No, but I don't think Brandy was an EVP.
She wasn't an EVP, but she was chief brand officer, or she called chief brandy officer.
Yeah, she was corporate. She's part of the corporate infrastructure.
Yeah.
And they did things like Nakazawa. They made him a part of the corporate structure by making him the personal assistant of Kenny Omega. Like, they just did a bunch of stuff to make some of them employees so they could have these employee benefits. I don't know whose head got bigger or what, or if Cody thought he was going to get more than he thought. Like, none of us know that stuff, so it's a little hard to speculate. But the idea that somebody who came in as an employee of the company and not just a talent would walk away from all those benefits, even if, let's say the argument became, hey, I think we're going to stop doing the program with you. We're going to keep you off TV for a while, but you're still going to get paid and you're going to be doing all the corporate stuff you've been doing. There's a lot of people who would be okay with that, but Cody's not. And we don't know if that's what was offered even. I'm just saying it's more complicated when you realize he's part of the corporate structure and part of the founding of it all. You know what I mean? He's not just a talent who was unhappy with creative. He was a member of the corporate structure who left the corporation as both a talent and an EVP. It's big. There's a lot there. I hope in a couple years' time he opens up about how it all went. On the
Yeah.
Rise and Fall of AEW DVD, you'll find on the WWE shop.
Hell yeah.
Or no, it's going to be available for pre-order on DVD, which is going to be kind of extinct on ProWrestlingTees.com. Because who the hell has a DVD player?
Oh, it'll be available for pre-order from Fighter Man, signed by Cody Rhodes, because he'll be an employee for the company at the time. It'll be good.
And is
Yeah.
there going to be a limited edition figure that comes with it?
Yes, it'll be a box set of all the AEW Cody figures in one box set.
It'll be that one I painted for you.
Yeah, it'll
There
finally
you
make it.
go.
Which, by the way, I thought about that when he was released too. I was all like, man, if Klump ever finishes that, that'll make it even that much greater for me in that. And we'll get back on track. But in that, I still hold firm that to this very day, to me, the best story and match that they have had on all of AEW TV was the Dustin AEW Cody program leading into
Absolutely.
Double or Nothing and the match that they had.
Absolutely.
I've never felt as emotionally invested in anything they've done from that. And that's just me personally. So the idea that the second thing that happened after that was the Brotherhood, which was the idea of the pops that you're drawing, or the idea of the case that I had made, it'll make that much sweeter whenever it comes to fruition. But let's shoot over to Klump real quick. And we can go back to you, Amanda. I apologize. We're all over the place. We're going to be all over the place.
No
There
worries.
we go.
Yeah. What do you think about all this?
Shit, I forgot what we were talking about.
Cody, left the company.
Oh. I mean, I think it's not going to be a bad thing for wrestling. I hope it's a good thing for him. I hope he finds like a happiness here. I could see him go to WWE, and I kind of hope he does, because I think it'd be cool. Also, I think it'd be funny, because then I'm sure we're going to see other people from AEW go back and forth. That if you have two healthy companies, that can happen, and that's not bad necessarily, you know. I think the only thing that has been negative is nothing to do with Cody. It's just purely these weird fans that act like this. They're so factional with this, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, I have appreciated a number of talents that have supported Cody and stuff, but like it's just been, you know, rough to say the least to hear, you know, so many people be so negative. I think it'd be fantastic. You and I talked about this. There's a lot of possible WWE angles with Cody that would be great, and it'd be really interesting to see what they could do with him. I think he's shown he is a main event talent. He could be a main event performer, and there's a lot of possibilities there.
Yeah. And he's a little bit slighted now. He didn't leave that company because he was hoping. Here's the thing, because we talked about it before. Producer said it on the show a bunch of times. I think on episode 1. She's felt that AEW was in cahoots with WWE this whole time, over and over again, primarily because of the stuff that Cody says and does. Because he's always working an angle with like Triple H and with WWE. He's always mindful not to talk shit about the company. He's always mindful to talk shit about the product. And there's a difference. Which is the same difference I'm making with Cody. I've talked a lot of shit about the product, the presentation of promos, and of some matches that didn't quite click, and the booking of it. But I don't talk, I mean, apart from him being tone deaf in a lot of these interviews, I don't talk a lot of shit about, you know, him and his ability. You know what I mean? Like, and his ethic, you know? So he's always been mindful of that thing, and it makes me think that he's always had because I mean, even Kev was saying it back when he first watched it. It feels like Cody's, how do we word it? Like just putting in like a failsafe. If he works a program with Triple H the whole time, then if the whole company went up, that he would still have something to position and to bounce off of. Like it was like a safety net almost. I don't think that his thought was. I think that there's possibility he had concern that the company might not last for a very long time, but I don't think that's the thought now. I think they left because of very different reasons, and I don't think it was always meant to catapult him back to the WWE. I think he would have been just fine staying with AEW for the rest of his life if he was able to do what he wanted to do in that company. So, yeah, I'm fascinated by it. I think it's absolutely fascinating, interesting. I'd love to hear more details about it if we could ever get to that, but I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. There's a whole lot of stuff you could do with him in WWE. I don't know what he would do besides to go to WWE if the reason he left WWE was to prove he was a main eventer because he didn't think the company saw him as a main eventer. Then once he leaves this company, for whatever reason it is, whether it went out of business or whether he left because of, some people are speculating money, some people speculated power. I think there's probably something in the middle. But if he went to do something with MLW or NJPW or Ring of Honor, isn't that more of the same of what got him to AEW? And wouldn't that not prove his point? Like, his point was to leave WWE to prove he's a main eventer. I feel like his next big move has to be go back to WWE and be the main eventer.
I agree. I think it's a really good built-in story too. I also think it would speak to what I kind of truly believe about at least WWE with regard to the wrestling industry is that Vince McMahon's view of performers is less and those backstage is less based on their like, we're not booking people like shit because of what they've done. It's more based on our scope of talent. Like, we build a different product. We're the land of the giants. We have kind of a set thing, and there's something to be said there. So certain people won't do well, most likely, or we need people who are ready set for TV because you're going to be watched by a consistent million people a week. So I think it'd be really good for him to go to WWE, because then we could see that, you know, Cody ain't booked to shit, because I don't think he will be. You know, I think he'd have a solid story, and it would open the wrestling industry up more, because there is such an attitude that WWE is bad, and I don't think that's accurate. As time goes on, I think there are people who have good times and bad times. At the end of the day, it's a company. Companies can be, you know, they're companies. They're not good or bad, and I think that's more important right now. It's just that it's a place to work.
That's true too. Because I think that's one of the things that people were really, which makes the story interesting. People baffled why he would leave, because Tony Khan's the best boss in the world. Everyone said it. No one's a better person to work for in the history of time in all of wrestling than Tony Khan. There's no better locker room that's ever existed in the history of wrestling than AEW. People keep saying that stuff in these interviews because, for one, they're leveraging a job or talking highly of the company they're paid to work for, and there's no reason why you wouldn't. And then you hear from WWE where they release somebody, they go on to online and talk about how horrible of a time they had. And so the people who re-sign, people don't understand it, because they say, how can you stay there when this other person had a negative experience there? It doesn't matter the company, good or bad. People are having different experiences there, and they have different priorities, and they have different ways of expressing themselves. What works for one person might not work for another, but might work for a third. Like, you don't know. So him leaving was just an indication, more than anything, not that AEW is a horrible place to work, but
Not perfect.
it's not perfect in every way. And it also just maybe has evolved to a point where Cody disagrees with where the foundation is at this point, right? It was built on a certain thing, and maybe it swayed enough from that where Cody and the boss are butting heads, and hey, I don't want to work here anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that, because there could be a bunch of other EVPs who love the direction that it's gone.
Exactly.
And this is absolutely the way to go. It's just a disagreement. And in business, that happens.
Yeah. Like, we know of, you know, in between promotions, talent, you know, having great relationships with each other. We know, like, when TNA was going, they pulled Ric Flair for the Hall of Fame, and they gave Christian Cage over for a bit. You know, it's less this evil thing to me, you know, grr, Vince. It's more just, you know, it's companies and stuff, and that's neither good nor bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Amanda, what do you think?
Well, we don't know what goes on really truly behind the scenes at AEW or even WWE for that matter.
Yeah.
We kind of assume we think we know. But honestly, I think right now, of all the EVPs that are left at AEW, I don't know how involved Jericho is, to be quite honest. I don't think it's ever been said. So I can't really see him. The Bucks are very passive people. I mean, that's just how they are. I mean, I don't think they're not going to rock the boat.
Yeah.
It's not going to be, they're not going to be aggressively pushing an agenda. That's just kind of how I've always seen them, you know, throughout the years.
Yeah.
Kenny, again, I think with him, it's more of he's banking on his star power. But then also, since he was in charge of that women's division, or still is, or whatever, that's been a failed thing.
Yes.
Because the U.S.
Struggles in ways.
Yeah, it's totally struggling. Nobody really understands Joshi wrestling. It's a very little niche. There's some people who enjoy it. Some people don't. Some people enjoy it for the right reasons. Some people enjoy it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But excuse me. But I just don't think that with Cody now leaving, it's really opening the door to what is going to happen over there. Because thinking that the Bucks aren't really aggressive, Kenny's kind of off. He's out doing whatever he's doing.
I don't know when surgeries and rehabbing and stuff.
Yeah, but we don't know when he's coming back. One and two, we don't know the level of his participation now, anyways.
Yeah.
And same with Jericho. We don't know. You know, Jericho's in it for himself. Let's face it. That's how I kind of feel about it. So if it's not him, and goddamn, we have to have Judas being, played every, whatever. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting to see, because I think if anybody, Cody really was the one of any of those EVPs who was the workhorse. Now
he seemed like he was heavily involved in the production and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But you can't damn him for, I look back on it and I'm like, okay, yeah, you were in a lot of shit. But also, who's going to carry some of this shit? You have all these injuries left and right and whatever, and you bring somebody in, but then they slowly fade into the background. Hi, where's Miro? Where's Miro?
Dude, Miro's such a sad story to me, just because he leaves WWE, doesn't resign.
No, but he had the shittiest story. The best man. That was some bullshit stuff.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I didn't even get to that part yet. I'm saying when he left WWE, he didn't resign because he didn't like the creative. It wasn't that he got released. He just didn't resign. And so he goes to AEW, and everyone says, here he is. He's going to prove that he's a main eventer. He's a future world champion. He's all these things. He starts off with such an awful story. It takes him 6-7 months to recoup and come up with a secondary story. Then he loses the title and comes up with a third weird gimmicky story thing that just fades away into nothing.
Yep.
Could he even go back to WWE with higher stock, or would he go back to WWE as the same?
Yeah.
I feel like he'd be in that John Morrison camp where it's all like, yep, you left and did the thing you did, but now you're back tag teaming with Miz. You know what I mean? Miro would be back to just, now you're Rusev fighting for the Intercontinental Championship again. You know what I mean? I don't think it raised his stock. I think Cody raised his stock, though.
Yeah, Cody did. I think he's the only one whose stock has been raised, or some of these old timers. But it's done nothing for Matt Hardy. It still will do nothing for Matt Hardy until I think Jeff comes around. If Jeff does come around.
I also don't think Matt Hardy's looking for anything else. I think that Matt Hardy wants to finish his career here. And Matt Hardy also worked for every single company in the world he ever could.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah. But
it would almost be weird if he didn't work at AEW at some point.
Well, I do feel that in a way, him and Jeff are going to have one more run at the Bucks. I think that that's probably going to happen, because I did see that one they did at ROH in Super Card of Honor. That was a great match. That was a very, very great match. And
whatever match they have coming up will not live up to that match. I guarantee you.
Probably not. No. But I really think that, now more than ever, there's going to be a lot of eyes to see, okay, what is going to go on? Because, if you keep the current status quo of what the programming is with AEW, I don't think it's going to go very far. It's very limited.
I'm real curious. We'll see what happens. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Unless, was there anything else specific about Cody? That, oh no, I look like
Well,
something's frozen.
I guess we're not going to see, Dan Lambert and Cody not Cody, but Brandy and each other anymore. So
Yep, that's done.
Yeah. That's
Did
done.
we need to though?
No,
No.
but at least that's done.